Welcome back to the Walsh Jesuit Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Jeff Lansky, on the call tonight for this Division II Region 5 quarterfinal matchup between the 5-seed Walsh Jesuit Warriors and the 4-seed Benedictine Bengals. WJ leads the all-time series 14-12. They're looking for their first win over Benedictine since 2013. Benedictine will receive to start off tonight's game. The Warriors are in their white road uniforms with the maroon helmet with the arrow on the side. Benedictine in their blue home jerseys with white pants. The white helmet with blue stripes and the blue B on the side. This game very well could be an offensive shootout just between two explosive offenses. The Warriors are averaging 40.2 points per game this season. Benedictine averaging 22.7, and that's a little misleading because they have a lot of weapons, especially at receiver. You're going to hear of the trio tonight: Christopher Gales, number 1, number 15, Marvin Conkle, number 4, Angelo Lott. Three guys who could all do some big play damage. They also have two great running backs, number 26, a sophomore, Dwayne Jackson, number 22, senior, Andre Rogers Jr. We thank you for tuning in tonight. This game was originally supposed to be played last night here at Euclid Community Stadium, but it was rained out and postponed to this evening. And it worked out well because originally it was going to be an audio-only broadcast, but because of Spectrum dropping out of their broadcast tonight, that allowed us to have live video. So definitely looking forward to this one as Cooper Curto will send this one away. It's returned at the 15-yard line by Benedictine. That's Andre Rogers Jr., who slips up and goes right into the hands of Mikey Pollard, the senior. The Bengals are led by junior quarterback C.J. Yarborough Jr. He is starting for the injured Ronnie Schultz, a senior who has just been awesome for the Bengals since taking over last year at quarterback. Schultz is out for the year with a knee injury, and it's just a shame. This season, Schultz, 855 passing yards and 7 touchdowns. But Yarborough has done a pretty good job this year, 30 for 54 for 385 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. And Yarborough, an early mistake. Connor Thomas comes away with the fumble. Walsh Jesuit in golden field position to start this game. Yarborough tried to fire a quick pass there, and the ball slipped right out of his hands, and Connor Thomas, right place, right time. Connor Thomas, during the regular season, 13 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss. Now he has his first fumble recovery of his Walsh Jesuit career. So here comes Matt Nadel in the Warriors offense. Nadel and Scott Keene have been in a quarterback battle throughout most of the year, but Nadel is the guy. He solidified that job last week. He hands it off to Rumpel, who takes it up the middle, barrels his way down to the 15-yard line. Matt Nadel coming into tonight, 65 for 105 for 877 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Last week against Garfield Heights, he was 5 for 10 for 135 yards, 3 touchdowns. Nadel in the shotgun with Rumpel on his left hip, and we have a flag on the play. It's going to be a false start penalty against the Warriors. So a early mistake here for WJ. Now Rumpel switches sides to the right side. 2 receivers split out both sides. Nadel quick fire to Greguric, who caught it at the 15-yard line where he's wrapped up and brought down. Dom Greguric had himself a night against the Garfield Heights Bulldogs last week. 3 catches for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he also, of course, returned a 40-yard punt return for a touchdown. That marked his second hat trick game of the season. Two running backs set for the Warriors now with Romanini and Rumpel. And Rumpel out of the Wildcat takes a snap up the middle, still on his feet. Touchdown, Warriors. The Wildcat worked, and the Warriors are on the board here first. We do have a flag in the end zone, multiple flags. Looks like it could be an excessive celebration penalty, possibly. But Rumpel out of the Wildcat, and the Warriors strike first. Will Rumpel with his 13th rushing touchdown of the season. So Cooper Curda on to attempt the extra point here for the Warriors. 34 for 34 on extra points this season. He's only attempted one field goal, and he hit that all the way back in week number 2 against Holy Name. So the penalty is a face mask penalty against Benedictine. That will be applied on the kickoff. So the sophomore Cooper Curda on to attempt the extra point. Owes the holder, kick is away, and it's good. With that extra point, Cooper Curda is now tied with Dave Regula for most extra points in the season for 6th all-time. Cooper breaks a tie with my teammate and friend Ross Martin. Cooper's perfect year continues. So Walsh Jesuit leads Benedictine 7-0 with 10:37 remaining in the opening quarter. The Warriors lead Benedictine 7-0 after Will Rumpel took a carry out of the Wildcat for the first touchdown of the night. Curtis' kick sails into the end zone, so it will be a touchback for the Bengals' second drive of the game. On the very first play of the game for Benedictine, their quarterback, C.J. Yarborough Jr., dropped back to pass, and the ball slipped right out of his hands, and Connor Thomas was there to recover it for the Warriors. And that put WJ up in perfect field position to strike first in this ball game. Now we'll see how Yarborough responds after that turnover. Two receivers up top for the Bengals, one on the bottom. That is Gary Merrill, the fullback in motion. Handoff to Rogers, and he's not going to get much there, maybe a gain of a yard or two. WJ's defense has been so good against the run this season. And that is one of the keys for them tonight. They have to be able to stop the run. Walsh Jesuit improved to 25-16 all-time in playoff games after their second-round win over Garfield Heights last week. Just a dominating performance from start to finish and in all facets of the game. Now screen pass to Angelo Lott, who has it in. He is rocked. Dom Greguric, the safety, comes up to make the play. Great read there by the senior. Tonight's contest is the 27th all-time meeting between the Walsh Jesuit Warriors and the Benedictine Bengals. WJ leads the series 14-12. This is also the second time these two teams have met in the postseason. Benedictine won in 2004 by a final of 21-0. And went on to win the Division III state title that season. Now 3rd and 2 for the Bengals. Handoff to the running back, and he is pushed back. Looks like the Warriors may have stopped him. It's going to be close. Benedictine says he had the first down, and refs will give it to him. That was Dwayne Jackson, the sophomore, on the carry. So a long, rich history between these two teams. WJ is looking for their first win over Benedictine since 2013 when they defeated the Bengals by a final of 27-7. It was the last of 4 straight victories over the Bengals. Hand off to Jackson. He'll pick up about a yard or two there. The Bengals won last year's game against the Warriors at Conway Memorial Stadium by a final of 62-24. Ronnie Schultz, the Bengals senior quarterback, played in that one. He had himself a great game. Went on to put some big numbers up for the Bengals last season. Yarborough Jr. under center now on second down. Handoff to Rogers, who bounces off the tackle, still on his feet at the 40. And he's run out of bounds just below us here in the press box. That'll be good enough for a first down for the Bengals. .8:31 remaining here in the first quarter. Walsh Jesuit on top, 7-0. Bengals starting to move the chains here on the ground. Yarborough Jr. will hand it off there to Rogers, and he goes right into the arms of the sophomore Josh Grogan. Andre Rogers Jr. holds an offer from Baldwin Wallace. Last week against Willoughby South, he had 8 carries for 72 yards and 1 touchdown. So that was a gain of 4 there for Rogers Jr. Marvin Conkle is the receiver on the bottom of the screen for Benedictine. Christopher Gales and Angelo Lott up top. Merrill, the fullback, in motion. Hand off to Jackson, who takes it up the middle. And he is brought down by Bailey Russ, Warriors senior linebacker. R.J. Bentley in there as well. Also Tyron Rogers, the Warriors defensive tackle. Connor Thomas checks in for the Warriors at defensive end. He recovered that fumble on the opening Benedictine drive.
That's terrible, I don't know.
3rd and 3 for Benedictine. Yarborough Jr. hands it off to Jackson, and he's got a first down and more across the 40-yard line. Well, I talked a lot in the pregame show about this trio of receivers for the Bengals. So far on this drive, it has all been the running backs, Rogers Jr. and Jackson, getting it done for the blue and white. 7:05 remaining here in this opening quarter. Yarborough Jr. under center on first down. He'll drop back. Plenty of time. He's in trouble, and he's sacked by Drew Erdman. The sophomore all fired up as he flexes towards his sideline. Small crowd here tonight as they are limiting capacity due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but great to see the Walsh Jesuit parents with a strong showing across the field here. That is really filled out nice since kickoff. It was a little bit, wasn't too full over there for the Warriors, but even in a strange year, WJ travels well. A lot in motion. He'll get in on an end around, and he's still on his feet, brought down by Casey Kish just shy of the 40-yard line. So that'll be 3rd down. 3rd and 11 for the Bengals. With the Warriors' win over Garfield Heights last week, Walsh Jesuit captured their first playoff victory since they defeated Kent Roosevelt in the regional semifinals in 2011. Coach Alexander told me it was a great win for the kids, especially the seniors, who, as I said earlier, dominated in every facet of the game. Yarborough Jr. is sacked. It's 4th down. Casey Kish, Bailey Russ bring down the junior quarterback. If you tuned into my pregame show, you saw my interview with Warriors linebacker Casey Kish. I interviewed Bailey Russ last week. 2 great kids, and they have been just 2 rock-solid players in this Warriors defense this season. They are all over the place. You will hear their name called all night long. Casey plays with so much intensity, and I've said a lot about Bailey Russ, just a true senior leader for this Warriors defense. Christian Cora, the punter for Benedictine, hits this one high, and that one will sail out of bounds. We'll talk a little bit about Christian Cora later in the broadcast. He is a star soccer player for Benedictine. He actually played in the Bengals' soccer playoff win earlier today, a 4-2 victory over Rocky River. He scored 3 goals in that game, and he made it here to Euclid just in time to punt for them tonight. So the Warriors will take over. 4:42 remaining in this opening quarter. WJ scored on their opening drive after a touchdown run from Will Rumpel out of the Wildcat formation. Nato on the shotgun. Campana will come in motion. Hand off to Rumpel, who takes it right side. He's got Thomas Jolly on his tail, and there goes Rumpel across the 45, and he's run out of bounds. Well, Euclid has been good to Will Rumpel this year. The last time WJ was here in Euclid last month to play Villa Angela St. Joseph, Will Rumpel scored 5 touchdowns and ran for over 200 yards. That was just a couple hundred feet away from us here at Euclid Community Stadium. If you've ever been to Euclid, there are 2 stadiums here. And WJ played at Sparky DiBiasio Stadium last month. Now they get to play in the just gorgeous Euclid Community Stadium. Really just an awesome facility. You could see there's a bowl here in the stands as Nato throws a screen to Campana, and it's a double pass. Ochi's wide open at the 30, and there he goes. It's a first down for Walsh Jesuit into the red zone. Nick Alexander pulling all the tricks out of his playbook here tonight early on in this one. You got to love just the creativity and the ultra aggression from the Warriors head coach. Now a handoff to Rumpel. He'll cut up the middle, and the ball's loose. Benedictine says they have it. There was a Warriors lineman there. We'll see what the call is. It's going to be close. I thought Walsh Jesuit had it. And Benedictine came away with it. A tough break there for the Warriors after a double pass from Josh Campana to Christian Ochi. It looked for a minute like maybe Christian was going to score, but great coverage by Benedictine there to stop that play.